how can there be both a flat Earth and a hole in the Earth that King Kong lives
Shut
in?
up, Michael.
Different theories. Just one of those is flat Earth, the other's hollow Earth theory.
Oh, man.
Both are equally as lunatic.
Ooh. My balls is totally moving, new and improving, not that weaker breaker. I've got the heart and desire, my balls are on fire, ready to take us to the top and snow. Welcome to the show! Did you know that your mom is probably nice, made you sandwiches, and drove you to school, and picked you up, and then when you cried because your girlfriend left you, she was like, it's gonna be all right, Johnny, don't worry about it.
Don't concentrate on the finger or you will miss all that heavenly glory.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. Welcome to the show, everybody. We're here. We're doing stuff. We got a guest. We got Matt Vincent in the house. Matt Vincent is a guy that is a professional log thrower. He throws trees and huge rocks and wears a dress. And he's the #1 champion dress-wearing log thrower in the world. It's like several times over. And then just to like show off, he had 75 knee surgeries.
Yeah, really winning a bunch of weird
most knee
things.
surgeries out of any person. Not even, because I know a lot of people that have had a lot of knee surgeries.
I can't believe mine's the worst.
And yours is worse than, I mean, I guess I don't read books, but I do know about older people and their crusades. I've never heard of anybody that's had, how many? Like 27?
Had 9 all here. It's slightly exaggerated,
I swear. It seemed like that documentary. I was like, wait, how many knee surgeries?
150.
It
Whatever,
seemed
I'll
like
go
that.
with it. I'm going to lean into it.
Seemed like so many. And you've got the old school knee surgery scar.
Yeah, I got that in like 2019.
Why?
Total knee replacement.
Oh.
Because they got to open the whole thing up, cut off the bottom of the femur, cut off the top of the tib, make it out of metal.
But that was the one that fixed it, yeah?
It's the one that fixed it.
Right.
I mean, fixed it. It's not nearly as good as a real knee.
I've seen you run.
Yeah, it's not great.
There's video of him running off a pier with a bunch of friends.
Oh.
And him running off the pier is like, wait, you go on long hikes.
Yeah.
Like he shows stuff where, you know, he rides some bike somewhere or a forerunner and they camp with his super hot Jack girlfriend. But then they like, here I am in the mountain on the top of a, and I'm like, that doesn't look like that was like a 15-minute waltz. Like, and then didn't you do like a real long, like a race or something?
So
jogging,
in October, so I did 2 years ago, I decided to do a run, mostly because I suck at running.
We should just get you running in the backyard. To see you run and then to say that you went in and...
Oh, if you let me warm up for like an hour, it totally changes.
You waddle hard, dude.
Oh, I know. It's disaster.
It's pretty crazy.
And look, the video you saw me run at the end of the pier, like I'd also just been on a motorcycle for like 7 hours that day.
Okay, so you...
Just crippled.
It's not that bad.
It's not always that bad.
Okay, because that was bad.
Yeah, it can be.
I'm picturing the little brother in A Christmas Story, Ralphie, come back.
He's like,
yeah, you
waddling.
after all your friends.
Forrest
Lower
Griffin.
body down.
I mean, sorry, you know Forrest Gump before he got the chains off?
Yeah, braces.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's what he looks
Yo, I had
like.
leg braces as a kid.
No, you didn't.
I totally had leg braces as a kid. I found them, like I don't remember ever wearing them. But I swear, man. And I
So
found
you
them
might
in,
have had bad legs from the get-go.
super pigeon-toed to begin with.
Oh, that's what it was for.
Yeah. So they were trying to fix that. Never worked.
It didn't work.
No.
You
But I
did,
definitely-
you do or do not recall wearing braces on your legs?
I
as a
don't
child?
remember wearing them, and I remember finding them and being like, what are these? And my mom were like, well, you wore those for a while. And
Are
it
we
was like the
talking
leather boot and
like-
like a metal thing that tied to the hip.
So you were walking, so you were at least like 5 or something.
No. How old do people start walking? That's like 18 months.
18 months or so.
I can't remember.
5-ish.
That's just so crazy to me that somebody could have had such a huge formative experience and have no recollection of it whatsoever. I wonder if your mom's gaslighting you.
Maybe. I also am such a disaster that the chances of her getting me to wear those may have just not been worth the fight.
Right.
And so I don't remember.
They were definitely for children. There's no way you discovered your parents like S&M gear and they had to audible on the fly.
Wait a minute.
Way
braces for S&M?
I don't know. You just find something that's
keeps you stuck like this.
Leather
It's
straps.
a new kink, I guess. I'll bring it up. See if anyone's into it.
Mom had a Forrest Gump kink.
Yeah, I don't recall it at all. But now that now that I got it fixed, right? This one is still pigeon-toed like it's ever been, and then this one now turns out slightly, so it's like I walk.
Oh wow!
Really cool like that.
You're like windshield wipers, always stuck to the right.
Just always one side, just constantly handed right.
So was that when you were in the Highland Games? Was that did that affect you?
So during the Highland Games, like the knee didn't get until right at the end.
But when you were performing and your feet were pointed a bit
in,
yeah.
They were both in.
That's
fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
can we do a real quick background on that for people who didn't hear you on our old show?
Sure.
Highland Games, what's the 30-second synopsis?
Yeah, so it is a old Scottish athletics. So heavy Scottish athletics started like 700 years ago. It began when like the English took the weapons from the Scots.
So cool.
And so this is how they would still meet up as clans and have a thing to compete in.
Yeah.
So they trained with like random farm equipment with stones and hammers and weights and like that. And so we got into the sport. I found it in like 2008, and it's comprised of 9 events. So you have 2 stones you throw for distance, just like a shot put. You have 2 weights you throw for distance. It's like a one-handed, kind of a kettlebell-looking thing with a chain. Then you have 2 hammers you throw for distance.
I was impressing my son this morning that you were coming by today by showing him the video. I think it was you with like a telephone pole.
Yeah, that's the caber.
There you go.
So that's the one most people know, the telephone pole, right? And it's just a big stick. And so they weigh anywhere from like 150 pounds-ish, and they're 20, 23 feet long. Good fun.
Tommy John. I like Tommy John. They feel real good in my crotch region.
They feel very, very nice everywhere it truly counts. And yes, I'm speaking of my grundle.
Shout out to all the grundles out there, everybody.
They look good. They feel good. I've had my Tommy Johns for a minute now, and they still look exactly as nice and as shapely and as grundle soft as they did when I took them out of the packaging.
Katie, you like them, right?
I have a sports bra that is incredibly silky soft.
Well, guys, Valentine's Day is coming. Maybe we should all get each other some Tommy Johns.
If you love giving Tommy John underwear because my partner loves Tommy John, you should give Tommy John to your Valentine too. Did I read that right?
I, Jason, love giving Tommy John underwear because my partner loves Tommy John. You should give Tommy John to your Valentine too.
That sounds way better when you say it.
Sounds like we're all buying each other underwear. I'm on board with this.
You can get 20% off your first purchase at TommyJohn.com/Jason right now for Valentine's Day. Michael, hurry to TommyJohn.com/Jason for 20% off. TommyJohn.com/Jason. See site for details. Sorry, Tully and I could get that to go.
Depends on the size of it.
Look, I'm not saying make a
well,
go
like,
far.
it
Just
depends
go.
on the size of it, right? Like there's amateur level ones for like beginners.
How much lighter are they?
Where do I get a starter caber?
A starter caber?
I don't want to start. I want to go big. Is it capable for a normal man to throw one at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're athletic, you're strong. I think we could work through some things. The hard part is learning it is like the pick, which is the very beginning of it, picking it up, right? So
it's gonna
2
tip
people
over.
hand it to you,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And so it's just standing and it's
You
pinned between
hold it
your
from
feet.
the bottom, right?
Right.
So you got to
you're
balance it.
standing with it, right? And then you work your way down to the bottom with your hands interlocked.
Yeah.
Pinch it with your palms and you toss it in the air
So
and catch it.
You're not. Oh, wow.
That move.
Yeah, so
Only
you
with
catch it and then balance it out like a baseball bat, right? Like in
Are
your
you
hand.
under the base or just
Under
grabbing?
the base.
Okay. all
Yeah,
right.
so you want to be under the base. That
Yeah.
way, whenever you
So it doesn't
stop
slip.
and pull on it,
Right, because you got to
it
throw
wants
it.
to flip.
Okay.
Where do they get these things? Because I was surprised it was as light as it was, given how
Yeah.
thick. It looks like a 20-foot tall telephone
It looks
pole.
way more than 200 pounds.
So they have to be dried out. Like if you have
Yeah.
a 20-foot tree, it's going to weigh 200 kilos, 400 plus pounds.
Right.
But after it dries out after a couple years, it's usually pine or they
Gotcha.
vary, kind of depending on wherever you are.
I threw away my Christmas tree finally like 2 days ago.
Oh, great.
There you go. It was a lot easier to move.
How far did it go, Michael, when you threw it?
It's a lot easier to move in
Wear
February
your
than it
wife's
was.
dress before
in
you throw it? 'Cause that's important.
What have you had more of, knee surgeries or kilts?
Definitely. Oh, it's probably pretty close.
Neck and neck.
Yeah, not too far off. I changed kilts kind of every season, and so I
You
did
changed knees
like
every
9
season,
years.
too.
Yeah, just about. I just did those in a rush all at the end.
Right.
Like all 9 surgeries were within like 18 months.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So once it went bad, we tried to fix it, and then that didn't work great.
Right.
So it was like 5 ACLs, and then chasing some other surgeries to kind of get out of pain, and then finally total knee replacement.
When you say 5 ACLs, how many of those were repairs? How many of those were synthetic? How many of those were cadavers?
The very first time I tore my ACL was in college. So doing track and field at LSU, ended up tearing it, got it fixed. And so we did that time, like you could have options of either using like your own patella tendon or your hamstring tendon as a graft. And so we attempted to use my hamstring tendon. I have this big gnarly hole in my hamstring now that I'm not as fat and I can see it from where they pulled it, and they weren't able to use it. So that thing's cashed. And so then they did the patella tendon anyway. So now both options are kind of shot on the first ACL.
Yeah.
And then I tore it in 2005 at a skate park when I owned a bike shop.
Smart.
Such is life.
Yeah.
I saved some little kid rolled out in front of me as I'd come down a road.
Not
what you-
even
it's
doing
what you
Put a
get.
leg out, just put a leg out to stop, and just high-sided and felt it pop, and that was that. And then being 22, I didn't fix it.
Oh, okay.
And so from that through the end of me competing and everything, I just didn't have one.
Yeah.
And then it got to a point where I couldn't quite get it straight anymore. And if I can't straighten my leg, I can't extend my hip, I can't push and throw far. And throwing poorly, like not lining it up, is the worst. Like it's not fun. It doesn't feel good to try. It just feels terrible. It's like, it's as frustrating as like trying to throw a punch in a dream feels. Where it's just like,
Walking in syrup.
oh, gross.
It's like punching after grappling a long time.
Oh, you feel like you didn't even get to try.
I call it spaghetti arms.
Perfect. And
I've thrown a jab out and I was like, oh no. I no longer have any arms.
this isn't going to work.
I
great.
remember thinking, can I raise my hand enough to cover my face to stop the next punch? Like I was actually worried. I was like, come on, hand, come up. And it came up and I was like, okay, they'll come up to my face. They just won't come out to your face.
I just need to make them think they will.
Yeah. But then it comes back. I don't
Yeah.
know how or why, but about a minute later, I could throw again and I was like, okay, go.
The old oxygen gets back in the
Yes,
system.
that's what it is.
Takes back
Yes.
over. Yeah, so I started at the end of that season. I was like, we're going to go in, do an ACL surgery. I got a year worth of rehab. I'm shooting content for YouTube at that point, and I'll document it. Hurrah, we're back in the
Yeah.
game. We win another world championship, right? 2018. Did the first ACL, and we used a graft, since the other option is to go into this knee, and like, that's crazy.
Yeah, agreed.
Crazy idea. This one works.
Yeah, I don't know. What is that? I don't like your doctors.
No, and I mean, that's the options. You know,
Yeah.
they weren't telling me to do a thing.
Right.
So we went with the
Could you
graft.
get a synthetic
Yeah.
or a cadaver?
Cadaver.
Right.
So did cadaver, and then went in 3
They seem to
months.
work better.
Apparently, I
My
heard
experience, I've got a couple friends that have the synthetics and they've had a lot of synthetics. Like Matt Hoffman used to have one in his pocket. So whenever he got knocked out and blew his knee out, he would give the doctor in whatever town he was in the synthetic to put in there because he figured you probably popped it.
that Matt Hoffman's one of the gnarliest dudes.
He's not
all
one
time.
of. He
Yeah.
is.
The gnarliest.
There's
dude.
nobody, I've never heard of it. I never heard anybody go into another country because it's illegal to do a certain operation and he wanted to make sure that he did it right. So he used no anesthesia and watched it happen. You ever had no anesthesia and had your kneecap drilled?
No, I
Because Matt
avoided
Hoffman
that.
has.
You ever been a backseat driver at your own knee surgery? Matt Hoffman has.
I couldn't be any less
The craziest thing is, if you know Matt, like him watching it wasn't helping anything. Like, what are you going to do? To like give him a pointer? You don't know what's happening, you maniac.
No, I'd rather be asleep. Let me get out of the way.
Yeah.
So once we started fixing it, I did the cadaver tissue, did like 3 months of rehab, went in, got it checked, and they're like, it's not there. Just did an
What do you mean
MRI.
it's not there?
Wasn't there. Like my body just
Ate it?
dissolved it. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And so 10 days later, we did another ACL. Try again with like a cadaver Achilles, since they're big, gnarly things.
Yeah, I don't like your doctors, dude.
Are these
And
Highland
then,
Games doctors?
Yeah,
Are
I
they
just found them in the streets.
traditional Scottish medicine?
Cut a piece of your
Let's
dick
get
off
it.
and use it. Like, what the hell?
Just got a deal
What
on
we
it
did
in
is we put a
Louisiana.
toe inside your knee, and you don't have any toes anymore, but your knee is great.
Yeah, it's the
Nurse,
guy
more
who-
haggis.
Looks like it ate your toes. We're going to take your hand and shove it up your ass. That'll make your knees work. Like, what the hell, dude?
Yeah, at the time, I mean, he was the guy doing all the surgeries for the Saints and was doing all the stuff for the other sports teams in New Orleans.
Are the Saints good, Michael?
On and off.
All right.
They're a competitive NFL squad.
I would say they
that's
still
my
have
go-to
good
for-
athletes.
They've got
Right.
knees.
Okay,
Yeah.
you've seen knees in that team? That's my...
So yeah,
Okay.
we did that routine through 5 ACLs.
Yeah.
So apparently, me and cadaver tissue, not so cool.
Right.
Either that or the rest of my knee that's so gnarly just doesn't allow any new friends to come on board.
So I noticed all your videos because I follow you, and obviously, Wolf Knives is about to come out through Not
Yeah.
Dead Yet, which I love the name so much more now.
Oh man, you know how much easier that is to tell people?
Yeah, because yes, dude, because I've had to
I
tell
know.
people.
You, for one, wore it a long time and still weren't saying it right.
Yeah.
This is my fault.
Yeah,
I'm aware of that so much.
Which is we're saying
Roman numeral
Hate
friggin'.
Hate was the name of the brand. Yeah, Hate Brand Goods.
and it is no longer?
It is no longer. We have redone everything to Not Dead Yet.
Not dead yet. Okay, that is because it had been a Roman numeral, and
Yep.
people have got enough trouble with regular numerals.
Also, in a world where the words you're saying are getting noticed,
Oh.
I don't think me saying hate a bunch of times
Yeah.
is super helpful.
Are you
Yeah,
saying
hate with a bunch of white weightlifters that have tattoos is not a
Not
good look.
idea.
Yeah.
No.
saying
man.
hate has negative connotations?
Weird.
Yeah.
Weird. Yeah, so the change feels good. I mean, even since, like, I've already had a couple people have ordered and said they saw you in it, right? And they're like, oh, I saw it said Not Dead Yet, and then Googled it. I'm like, well, that's a first in the last 9 years that I've had this apparel. No one's ever been like, I saw it on a shirt somewhere and decided to look it up.
Yeah, because you probably wouldn't have
Now,
found
why
it.
would you?
Yeah. Well, I think it's a great. I'm not a business guy when it comes to like I got an idea it's going to make me tons of money. I've never heard of that. I never came up with that idea. But I've always wanted my clothing line to have good clothing, and I've been wearing your stuff. I don't get paid. I just wear it because it's my favorite stuff to wear. I'm not on camera, off camera. I don't care. I'm wearing it. And then to make my stuff so I know that not only can I wear it the first day, after I wash it, I can put it back on and it will look exactly the
Yeah.
same as it did last time. That was not a thing that I could do through Benchmark. They were not into
Oh, quality.
quality, yeah. That was more about the profit, which, if you're in business, it's not like we're in, Macy's or anything. So it was probably the smart move. But I always was pushing to try to, like, I got my T-shirts made custom
Oh, right,
because
right,
I was
right.
like, I'm not wearing them because I'm a T-shirt, like, Nazi. I don't,
Well,
wait, I
that's
wonder
what
if
we
you can't
all
even say
exist
that word.
in is T-shirts, right? Like that's what we're all
Yeah,
wearing
that's
all
my
the
thing.
time. So having decent stuff that you can wear all the time doesn't fade, doesn't get trashy.
But-
I just thought from jump, right, that like I have to make it on nice enough stuff that people wear it despite that it's my brand.
That
that, like,
because mission accomplished.
Because everyone's
I
got
was wearing
shirts
it-
that they just grab that
Yeah.
they know it's the shirt. Who
Yeah.
cares what's on it anymore?
Little bit, depending on what's on it, but
Sure.
if it's a really good shirt, it is hard to, like, that means so much to me.
Well, then
The
there's
struggle of a janky T-shirt
Ugh.
is such a bane of my existence. Like, I got pants on, I put my shirt on, and I look and I go, that's not what it was last time. What is this crank? And then I throw it off and I go look at another one, and and then I realize that I've got 100 T-shirts and there's really 12 of them that I want to wear.
Yeah.
So everyone keeps asking me, especially now, and I know this podcast isn't going to come out today, but Wolf Knife apparel, Wolf Knife memberships, I'm getting hammered because
Okay.
the Wolf Knife shop is shut
Right.
And everyone wants to know where the new stuff is.
We're
I'm
working
more
on
excited
it.
than they are because I know what's in the package. And I'm like, this is what I wanted it to be 10 years ago.
Yeah, I'm stoked on it too, man.
Yeah.
I'm stoked on getting a chance to design it and help curate it and
You
help
guys
make
did
it rad,
amazing
man.
stuff, dude. Like when I started seeing all the stuff you were making, I was like, yeah, like that. And you
Yeah,
had a lot more to do with it than me. It was very impressive.
I really dig the shorts because we're
wonder
going to
if-
do a pair of goat shorts.
I
and
wonder
they're
if
like,
Ellis fam is going to dig the shorts. I
I
feel
hope
like
so, man.
I'm a rare. I do get some looks from some of my MMA
Are they
friends
not in a
sometimes where they
shorter
go,
short category?
"Oh, hey," and I know that they're not saying it, but I know they just went, "Dude, those are short shorts." You know,
Well, good. We're starting to make 3-inch inseam ones.
shorter.
Yeah.
See, some
Send
people
it
are
to
not
the
happy.
man.
Me, incredibly happy.
Same.
I love
I'll
those.
leave these things out as much as possible.
If you
Is it
got it,
because
flaunt
you
it.
have jacked ones and that? Like,
Look,
what
as,
made
as
you
been
wear?
a chubby dude forever, this is one of the only things I've ever had is like
Right, 'cause
calves and quads.
You got in like good looking shape.
Yeah,
You're not as
that
strong
happened
as you were,
late.
right?
Way late. Yeah, I
Right.
can't lift for shit anymore.
But you look way better. Like
Yes.
clothes fit you in a way where you can get away with it. So now you're flexing. Is this more like a cleavage thing for you?
The legs have always been there. They're smaller than they were, but they definitely give the appearance of me being leaner than I really am.
Well, I like it. I don't know if everyone else.
I
is,
like
but
it. Yeah, why not,
screw
man?
them. But
Is
I
that
like
a,
it.
Is that a weird thing? Like having it takes so much work, and I can only imagine how glorious it is to watch your body transform and get impressive, and then really impressive, and then like, wow, I'm the most impressive guy in a room full of impressive guys. To go backwards, does it feel like a little death to be like, oh, I don't have my tree trunk legs anymore?
For sure. Like sorting out the loss of that identity was really
Right.
weird. And when I got hurt, man, I remember feeling like, why would anyone listen if I can't maintain this squat that I used to be able to do or this certain level of whatever that was that I had earned? And the idea of not being able to maintain it means I wasn't ever that.
yeah.
It didn't. I mean, obviously, this is not a totally rational sentiment that you're operating off of, but you did ring the bell. You do have the titles, and those can. Michael
Sure.
Jordan doesn't need to be able to dunk anymore because
Nope.
he has the rings. You do at least have the rings.
Yeah, but it's something that you've invested so much time into that it seems crazy to let go.
Yep.
And like also admit that like it's not that important to me anymore.
Yeah, that might be the bigger bit. The bigger bit.
And then decide then what is more important. Because man, as much as I love the pursuit of what max strength was and got to push myself in all those realms, I found it. I found the most I'll ever lift. I'm not gonna find it at 50. I'm not gonna find it now at 40 with a bum knee. So let's spend that energy on some other pursuits that we can get good at. Like I know those metrics.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to, like, I'm just not that excited to figure out, like, what's the best I could squat on a fake knee at 40?
I think there's a lot of people who were really accomplished at stuff. Like I think of bands, for example, where if they were being honest with their audience and being honest with themselves, they're not all that excited about the new album, but they also don't have another thing that they're excited about. And it's really hard to shed the old skin when you don't have a new one already grown underneath it.
Yeah, my interests have always been so varied that even doing the Highland Games, as much as I loved it, kind of to the lack of interest in some of the guys I competed with who took it a bit more serious, I just always remember saying, like, it's a thing I did and not who I am,
Yeah, right.
right?
It's
And
more to
I,
life
like,
than logs.
yeah, that's exactly right. Like, how far I throw this rock today isn't going to make it on my tombstone anyway. It's a cool thing I got to do.
Yeah.
On to the next. And so once I kind of really came to terms with that I couldn't do that ever again, then it opened a lot of doors. And then remembering again of what I really loved about the sport was I loved getting better at it. Like I liked having a thing that I'm obsessed about that I can just pour all the energy into and figuring it out and learning the puzzle of like what helps, what does this, blah, 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 blah. And so deciding like, okay, I can't do that anymore. I'm terrible at running. How much better can I get at running in 12 weeks? Can I get good enough to go do this Bryce Canyon trail run that was like 18 miles and like 4,000 feet? Can I get good enough to enjoy it? Like not just be out there on some death march to prove a point, but like, oh man, we're doing a thing that old me who was stronger couldn't do.
Yeah.
And then last year we trained and I did a 243-mile bike ride in a single day.
Nope.
So it's 21 hours, 22 minutes.
Wait, straight?
Yeah.
No sleep.
Yeah, we started at midnight and finished at like 9:30.
Do you get off to poopy?
Yeah, or pee, or get food.
And then back on.
Just keep moving.
We tired?
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, that's a 22,000 calorie effort is
Yeah.
about what we figured.
Is
And
it in a group or do you spread out?
me and one friend
Dude.
spent a bunch of it by myself. And like, that's part of it, right? Was
Yeah.
the puzzle I really wanted to figure out was through the training of it, can I figure out how to fuel and hydrate and manage that so that this tries to give up first?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the ride's not complicated. It was flat and it's a straight line the whole time. There's no turns or anything to figure out. I've got help that brings us food at stop points. Like, we're not
Yeah.
having to solve any problems.
Yeah.
Just pedal.
Okay.
And so, like, how's the head going to manage that? When does it want to give up?
Did you ever get so tired while you were pedaling that you almost fell asleep pedaling?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was wondering how.
Yeah, around like 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Because we're a little over like 100 miles in at that point. And I just remember like wobbling
Yeah.
and being like, what's going on? And then I realized I haven't been eating
Oh, okay.
for the last 3 hours. And
And that wakes you up.
dude, from that point on, like I just had a bag of gummy bears like on the
Yeah.
front of my bike.
Hell yeah.
And those things are a certain amount of calories. And I just kind of always have one in my mouth.
Yeah.
And then would eat like a Snickers bar.
That's like me, except I'm not pedaling.
Yeah, perfect.
I just always have a gummy bear in my mouth.
That's like Lance Armstrong, only steroids.
Right.
Instead.
Well,
He
I'm
always
into
has
that
steroids
too.
in his mouth.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's the way you take them. That's how I've learned.
Remember one time, Katie, I fell asleep with a gummy bear in my mouth and you tried to take it out and I woke up and grabbed it and put it back in and went to sleep chewing on it.
That was not the only time.
Right. I really like gummy bears though. They're great.
One time I passed out and thought I had vomited blood in my sleep, and it turns out it was just I passed out eating Oreos.
We thought Oreo was blood.
It was brown. It was caked brown. and I just thought that it was falling
Yeah.
out all over the place. I'd ruined my pillow. And I said, God, what if okay, it's time to stop drinking. And then I realized it was an Oreo. I was like, I'm fine.
Have you ever read any of the reviews for like the sugar-free Haribo gummy bears?
Do I look like I read reviews, Matt?
Yo, if you read the reviews, people talk about these things just ripping through them with explosive diarrhea. Like
Oh,
if you
wow.
go on Amazon, it's just like, I got some of these and ruined 12 hours of my life.
Mine's spicy food. I discovered the other day I ate a ghost pepper chicken sandwich with Tony. Shout out to Dave's Chicken. But I came home on the freeway. My stomach was already hurting. And I came home and Katie wasn't home. So I was just here on the couch. And then I go to the bathroom, then on the couch. And I felt like I just had to get it out and it wasn't coming out. And then finally it started coming out and I was like, wait, why do I feel like I'm going to vomit? And I hadn't eaten all day. All I had was that ghost pepper sandwich. And when I got back here, I ordered a acai smoothie. So I had the smoothie. And then when I started to do the poopy, the smoothie came out like a fire hose. So I had a bucket in my hand, fire hose smoothie while exploding the back door. And I was like, I had one bite of that sandwich. Tony ate the whole burger and then flew to New York to do Saturday Night Live. Fine.
No problems.
Because he does it. I had the guy.
Oh, you don't do spicy food?
No.
My chick doesn't do spicy food, but she's from the Midwest.
Well, I think that there was a time in Australia where the only spicy food you could have got was Thai food. And I think a couple of times, because there was an option, super spicy. I was like, yeah, super spicy. I like testing myself and I couldn't eat it. And it made me, like my mouth went numb and I couldn't taste the food. And I remember saying, what's the point of this? You can't taste the food you ordered. But no stomach problem. Just I was a young boy and I was sweaty and my mouth was stinging. And I was like, right, I don't really do that. Every now and then when I was drunk, I would do the wasabi challenge where I would eat a giant block and whoever ate more, like we'd keep going.
You both lose.
Yeah, but I never had a potty problem from it. It was more like I'm sweating and reacting in a way where it's very apparent that my body's not as good with spicy food as yours. But I never had a stomach problem. But I think once I got older, my stomach started to react to things. Like if I ate ice cream at night, I would crap myself all morning.
Oh, with the
And
lactose.
and I think I was never lactose intolerant, but my wife is, and she was like, "You're lactose intolerant." I'm like, "No, I'm not." And then the next time I'd eat ice cream, it would happen again.
Oh, no.
And I was like, okay, maybe there is something.
But did you have like a window that you'd skipped eating ice cream for a long time?
Probably. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I always do things like that. If there's a fight, I just jump off stuff, or I get into, I'm plant-based, like I've always tried to do stuff.
Try new stuff. Yeah, why not, right? I did the same. I mean,
But
man,
it definitely does it now. Like, I think if I had a milkshake with actual milk in it right now, within 2 hours, I'd have a stomach thing. So it
trying to
just
think.
got when you're older.
Guys, I'm trying to enjoy a can of corn over here.
As you always
That'll clog
do.
you
Michael.
up. Clog you right up.
Yeah. Corn works.
You're an adventurous guy, right?
Trying.
You travel
I do.
for work, for
Some
play,
combination
for
at this
pleasure.
point, yeah.
Right. Where have your travels taken you? Since we've seen you
Last year, we went to Patagonia. We did 3 big motorcycle trips. And then we went to Alaska for a week.
Patagonia.
That's Argentina.
All right.
It's the bottom of the planet.
I knew it was more than a jacket.
Yeah.
All right. Right before the ice wall.
Right before the ice wall.
Right.
Yeah, it's nice to know. That's Ushuaia is like the most southern point, and then that's where you would leave to go to Antarctica or the alleged ice wall.
The end of the earth.
Yeah.
The alleged ice wall.
Yeah.
Some people say Game of Thrones is real.
That's right.
Ah.
The flat earthers,
Others
the flat
debate
earthers
it.
believe that's what is the edge of things.
Oh, that's where the ice wall is. Is that also where the hole is that allows us to
That's
go to the
deep
center of the earth?
into the ice wall.
So wait, is there? How can there be both a flat Earth and a hole in the Earth that
different
that King
theories.
Kong lives
Shut
in?
up, Michael.
Different theories.
go
One of
ahead.
those is flat Earth. The other's hollow Earth theory.
Oh man,
Both are equally as lunatic.
Are there any,
where do I go to watch those two people debate each other?
Are there any frozen guys on the other side of the wall with the blue eyes?
We could never know.
Because maybe it's for the best that wall's there.
No kidding.
I don't want to fight those guys.
This year's travel's
I
exciting.
kind of do, actually. I feel like that's my problem.
That you want to fight White Walkers?
I just want to be taken over, like make a zombie out of me, or if you give me the prick, and then I become a robot. I talked about it with Tony once. I was like, if it's just you may program me, so I'm just like content with whatever it is I'm doing all day.
Yeah.
Wait, some type of shot that turns you into a robot?
Yeah, remember they said that if you take the vaccine, it's got like a thing in it, and so it can control you potentially.
Oh, okay.
You didn't hear that one?
Maybe.
It's up there with the ice wall.
It's pretty exciting.
Sounds
Right,
like
but
they've
I
already
remember-
got you, Matt.
I remember thinking, what's the problem?
Right.
They got to be better at this than I am.
I mean, you're going to just stop me from worrying about stuff and like what my next goal is. Like, I'm just going to be content with a robot sandwich. I'm cool with that.
I was kind of thinking about that on the way here because I got off at the wrong highway exit for the second consecutive time at the exact
Nice.
same. And I was like, actually, this time I was like, don't get off at that exit. They don't live at Laurel Canyon. Don't get off. I'm off at Laurel Canyon. And I was like,
Oh, it's the vaccine.
I don't think I'm losing my mind, but people who are losing their minds never think they're losing my mind.
That's the problem.
And then I realized if I'm losing my mind, I'm cool with it. So that's fine.
Yeah.
And if I'm not, if I ever lose my mind, it's fine as long as the first part of your mind that you lose is the part that's afraid of losing your mind.
Yes.
If you lose that part first,
Yeah.
come
Yeah.
on, sweet oblivion.
Yep. I would cut that bit out if you gave me a knife and showed me where it was.
Which supposedly I heard one time is a real thing. Supposedly it's in the annals of medical history. Some
The
depressed
annals.
person, the annals.
If I had
Somebody
a penny
w-
for
Somebody was for every
all the
annal
things in my annal.
you've been in. Yeah. Somebody was
Research.
depressed and
Scientific
tried to
research.
take their life.
Development, baby.
Somebody supposedly tried to take their own life by shooting themselves either in the mouth or underneath the chin and survived, but somehow knocked
Caught
out
frontal lobe.
the exact part of their brain that was causing the depression. So they survived.
Fix it.
So they're super happy with no face?
So dumb, so drooly, but alive.
No face, though, right?
I don't know what
Man,
happened to their face.
I think it would be really hard to pinpoint that that's the only thing that fixed the depression.
I don't think that person was probably, working as an accountant anymore after that.
That's fair.
He could be the guy that brings the boar worms.
Or a model. He's,
He could just put a gold mask on and just be like, bring me the boar worms. All day.
he just looks like the character in Hannibal with the
Yeah.
laying in the bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Probably was a greeter at
That's all I
Walmart.
ever remember
Probably
for
wasn't
that.
a greeter at Walmart.
You
Yeah.
betcha.
How important are lips?
Oh, they're super needed.
Are they?
Yeah,
What's so
showing
great
just
about
teeth
lips,
all the
man?
Yeah,
time.
go ahead, Matt. Tell me what's so great about lips.
It's not so much that lips are great, but the absence of them is a real problem.
Go ahead,
Just showing
why?
up teeth forward, like we
well,
can't.
if you still got this bit, like
Which
whatever
bit?
that.
Like that's a lip.
Nah,
Would you not call
this
that
is
your
the
upper
red
lip?
bit is the lip. This is my upper lip.
What's half of that word?
Well, I'm talking about just having no lips.
Like
and
you could
still
still,
having,
yeah, you could still have a mustache.
you can still gummy it.
Oh, so just on that.
Yeah, like you smoked a lot of meth.
So we're eliminating the whole lipstick industry.
You could paint lipstick on your no lip to make it look like you got a
People
lip.
would do it.
I'm sure many would.
I've seen people that have very little lips and they're living.
Just really pierced.
Worst part is a dad that has no lips and then he makes a baby and then it's a girl and then the girl has no
No
lips.
lips.
She's so not hot.
Well, they pump them up now,
Yeah,
right?
but we can fix that now. We have technology.
Do they?
I think so.
Man, I was thinking about doing that stuff.
It gets a little loose. You gonna fill your lips?
Nah, my lips, I don't mind my lips. It's just, I'm getting old.
Going for Botox? Go for all the
Yeah, I
fillers?
would. Yeah.
Have you
My
never?
daughter is, one time for the show I did it,
Okay.
but not for actual, the purpose. It was more,
For the show.
the person was like, I'm having someone do Botox today.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. And then I think I did notice it. I was like, oh yeah, I see how it did something.
Yeah, you're injecting poison in your face.
Yeah, that throws it off a little bit.
A bit. But I mean it does the thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have the money for it, but I think I'm,
Thinking about Botox.
what am I again? Narcissist?
Narcissistic.
Yeah,
I'm surprised
narcissistic.
you don't have the money for it because I can't believe how many people in this city do have the money for it.
Think different
Yeah.
priorities.
Oh, I think it's your priorities.
Right.
Do I have the money for it? Yeah, but then I'd probably have to not buy weed or something. And that's like, yeah,
Right.
right.
Steak.
I'd rather be hideous.
Because I was getting kind of bummed out, so I looked into therapy, and I have decent insurance. It doesn't cover it, and I would have been out of pocket like I don't know, like $1,500 a month.
Yeah, it sounds
Oh my God.
I'll just be
Yeah,
sad.
I don't have a reference to
Yeah.
doing that.
Just go to the bar with your friend.
Heck
Tell him
yeah.
how bad it is.
Just find some buddies.
You do a lot of motivational stuff lately, Matt. I don't know
Yeah.
if you were like that when you were a younger man, but
No.
I feel like, when I started the Jason Ellis show, I had my theories on how to get stuff done, and I think that it helped the show. And I think I helped a lot of people sort of get motivated. But I feel like what you talk about, you're better at making sense of it. I don't know if it's because, I'm more of I just drive. I don't like technique wise. I figured this out from talking about skateboarding recently, where somebody was asking me a long time ago how to do a certain trick and where do I look? And then I said, I don't know. And I was like, let me just do it right now so that I can refresh myself and tell you. And I didn't know where I was looking even when I did it. And I was like, where were you? What are you looking at if you don't know what you're looking at?
No, you're in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same way I would feel if someone asked me what I'm looking at throwing. Like,
Right. And it's the
not
same
a
with
concern.
with comedy. I feel like there's a lot of people that are more precision, like word for word, like actual timing and beats and paying attention to a lot of other stuff, a lot more technique. And mine's more of it's the same. I'm doing the same thing in everything I do. I don't really get critical with where my feet are. Like I same with fighting, it's more just a feel and then just repetition. Like where you start to figure out as you go how to make it better.
I definitely wasn't
I don't think
as
it's as
into
fast.
it younger. Right?
You weren't?
No. I would have written off a lot of it as kooky and like the self-help thing or whatever it is.
Right. But now you are one of them.
Yeah,
I feel like yours
there's no
is,
doubt.
I always, no offense to everybody else out there that's on social media telling me how to, get up in the morning and do burpees, but I just feel like if you haven't done it at a really high level, I find it hard to trust you.
It's tough, right?
Yeah,
And
and
I
I feel
found
like
that
you
from
have-
myself.
Working out stuff where if you're telling me this is a way to do it, I'm listening to you.
Yeah.
Because you were at one point one of the strongest people in the world, and then you changed your body completely to do other activities that still require a lot of athleticism.
And consistency.
That's one of the
Like,
keys,
that's
right?
one of those keys. And so, like, the more I got to look back on my sport when it was over
Yeah.
and trying to figure out like what am I going to do with my life or the brand or anything,
Yeah.
it was starting to take like, what did we really learn? And it was, okay, it takes 10 years to be good at a thing. And
Yeah.
honestly, one of the first times I heard that is listening to you guys years ago on the show.
Right.
And I remember you talking about getting into radio, and you're like, it takes 10 years.
Yeah.
I'm in for the ride. Like, just give me 10 years, I'll be great at this.
Yep.
And so, like, really just admitting that to myself allows for a lot of learning because it's going to take 10 years.
Yeah.
And so the more now that I've kind of gotten into self-development and figuring out my mindset and my perspective on things, I feel like I can control a lot more where my energy ends up getting wasted.
Yeah.
And I don't want it spent on some idiot in traffic
Yeah.
that I'll never talk to,
Yeah.
right? That's an NPC. I'll never deal with that guy. And so he doesn't care about my day. So why would I give him any of like the 2% of my day that I could have focused on my life?
Yeah. Yeah, I've got that. I think I forget it because I've hit my head so much, but when things get crazy and there's a lot of negativity happening around me, when I'm thinking straight, it's don't respond, just block it.
Right.
Because I'm not going to convince you otherwise, whatever it is that you've made up in your head. And if it's bad, then we don't need to be friends. We don't need to talk to each other. You need to go do your thing and I'm going to go do mine. Because I can't convince you that I'm a good person.
Right.
Like, I'm just going to keep doing me.
I think those things too, like setting boundaries and figuring out all that. Like
Yeah.
I got really lucky on a lot of that because I've been close friends with a bunch of high-performing lunatics.
All right.
And so I just got to watch and pay attention to it and learn what I can from each one, that figure out if it works for me or it doesn't. And if it doesn't work for me, it doesn't mean it's trash. It just means it's not for me.
All right.
And then kind of the more I got to thinking about it and wanting to start mentorship group or any of that, it was, oh, man, how many people don't have those resources and how many people aren't exposed to anyone outside of their small town and doesn't get information of someone that wants to share.
Yeah,
a
you know
different
what?
way.
That makes me want to ask, what is the thing that you find people that don't have that you're giving to them? Like, what is the most common thing that, is it women too?
Yeah, we do both.
What is the most common thing that they get from it that they couldn't get without you?
One of the things I see the most, right, is you end up having this group of people that have got to their mid-30s, early 30s, and have followed a path, which was what their parents' expectations were, all these other type of things, and we're led to believe that if we accomplish this, we go to college, we get a sheet of paper, we get a job, and it's pays decent amount of money, we get a house, we have kids, we're happy.
Yep.
And it doesn't work
Right.
because you're not doing it for you.
Right.
So you have to find something, and I'm not saying uproot all that and start businesses and be an entrepreneur, but you need something that gives purpose and
Do you think
drive
it's
to your
easier
thing.
for a person to excel because they didn't have a routine that they are trying to live up to through parental guidance?
I don't know. I think it really depends on whenever you get to take awareness and really understand that everything you want to do is on you.
Yeah.
And as soon as you kind of accept that, then I can't say, well, it was this that didn't let me do it. Like, I'm not waiting for permission.
Yeah.
And that's where I see a lot of people like, well, I want to try this. And they're looking for permission from these people around them to try new things. And like getting people to understand they don't need it. It's your life. Make some decisions. Some people are going to go. Some people are going to come into you new. But the more you're trying to drag whatever was with you to the next thing, you're not open to try.
Right.
And so helping people kind of find more purpose and more drive and maybe even a community of people that's more willing to talk about getting better at things.
Yeah, if you have a group of people that are one of their main objective is to be better at things, it's going to rub off.
Right.
I know it's going to make it easier to achieve your goals because that's just the way we are. I mean,
look,
when we know we've got a team, it makes it way easier to get there.
I mean, I don't care if it's financially or athletically or whatever it is. And then those two make really good sense to most people.
Yeah.
But then if I start looking at it like emotionally or figuring out my awareness of what I actually like and looking at training for that differently, it's tough. So, but financially or the other, giving people some options of realizing like what they can do to get out of that day-to-day stuck.
Yeah. Yeah, I like what you said with the being like, because you can be motivated. You can teach somebody to have a mindset where their goals can be achieved at a faster rate with less stress. But I feel like when I started the show, there was that mentality of just go. Nobody knows it. Don't listen to anybody. Don't trust anybody. You're going to be doing this by yourself. Harden up was my whole thing.
Yeah.
And I think is that good for business and athleticism? Yeah. But to be a person in society that is enjoyable and fun to be around with that mindset,
It gets old.
it does.
Yeah.
You need to start thinking about other people. And I feel like I was on a trajectory. Wow, I won't even bother saying that word. I was on a mission, and I was just going to block out everything. And then I realized that I was hurting people to get what I wanted, and it was selfish. And you have to be selfish to get what you want in life, but you don't have to. It is humanly possible to be selfish to achieve your goals, but not step on people's heads
Right.
on the way up. You don't have to do it that way. And I feel like that was the biggest lesson that I've learned in my life, because I felt like there was this whole other world that I wasn't paying attention to that was the most important part of my life, like having friendships and my wife still living with me and putting up with me. All these things needed to be assessed. And I think at one point I was just go. That's all you need to think about. I still have problems with that. Like when a lot of things are happening at the same time, it's hard for me to be emotionally there for anybody because I'm in my own head thinking about what I have to do tomorrow to get what I need.
I think sometimes that's still useful, right? Like to be able to turn it off and disconnect a little bit so that I can make good decisions to drive the boat right now.
Yeah.
Because that someone has to take over a leadership role.
Yep.
And so being able to do that and not being emotionally pinned by stuff is great too. And we end up processing it on the back end. A lot of times people don't process anything ever.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Right? Like you still have to
get
have
in the
that
habit
time.
of ducking it to the point where you don't even know you're ducking it.
Right.
I did that to the point where the first thing I realized I had to face after I faced it, I think I went into shock for about 2 years because I realized that's just you're scratching the surface of how many things you've put your foot in that you needed to deal with differently. I'm still doing it. I had a conversation with Christian Hand from Death Die because we're going to play again, and we had a whole big relapse of sorts about the beef that was back in the day and the she said, he said, and I was like, dude,
It doesn't matter.
it's like your clothing line. My heart still jumps. It will never not. I have better days. Sometimes it's bad, and I think, man, am I about to go to the ER? And I'm like, no, you're just panicking, relax. So I don't know how much longer I'm going to live, and it's just a bigger picture to me where I'm like, you don't like this thing that I did 10 years ago? I don't like the thing that you did to me 10 years ago. But we're going to die, dude.
Also, I'm not that
And
into
what about
me
all the
10 years
times-
ago.
What's
Like,
that?
I'm also not that into me 10 years ago. So
Right.
if there's a way I can apologize for him being a moron, let me know.
That's what I was doing.
But if you want to, and if you want to still be mad about that, like, I don't know what, I can't
I think-
change how you feel.
I think that the way the discussion went 10 years ago, I would have been standing up shouting. But this time I was like, this is not helping anybody. Is there any way that I can rectify this situation? Because I'm not mad at you, man. Like I only want to sort this out. And I don't even think for sure 10 years ago, when it got to where it got at one point, I would have gone up and said, you know what? Don't ever speak to me again.
Sure.
Blah, blah, blah.
Forget you.
Yeah.
Forget you.
Forget your mother.
Yeah, but I didn't.
Make like a banana.
Right, and I feel like I didn't, and we did resolve it, and we are going to play, and it's going to be a magical thing that could have never happened if I couldn't just swallow some
Weird ego, right?
Yes, ego, exactly.
We'll be on stage playing Forget Your Face.
Perfect.
Man, God damn it, Liquid Death in the nose.
Oh man, the PG-13 album is going to be great.
Dude, my son's coming to the Rainbow Show.
You've made it
I ran it past the wife in the terms of I waited until he went to bed and I was like, I think we're gonna. My son is obsessed with Ozzy, he's obsessed with guitar, loves the Rainbow. It's like his favorite place to go. And I'm like, I think we're gonna do a warm-up show. And she's like, why are you? I don't care about your life. Why are you telling me this?
Just speaking at you. Just let me get it out of my head.
100% support.
You know how this goes. I talk, you pretend to listen, you keep typing. Come on, we've done this a million times. And I said, well, I think it's going to be at the Rainbow. And she goes, oh. And I thought that it's too bad, great, can't go. And instead, to her credit, she's like, oh, you have to let him go. He loves that place. He loves guitar. And I'm like, dude, forget your face. A is for something that starts with A. Like, there's lots of reasons for him not to go. She's
Annals.
like, yeah.
He's not going to be listening to lyrics at that age. He'll be overwhelmed with the environment.
And she said, and I kind of feel the same way. It's all a joke. There's nothing actually mean-spirited or bad about it. They literally are just words. But this is kind of putting our money where our mouth is. Yeah. If we play the Rainbow, my son will be standing on top of some gerbils in a trench coat.
Well, look, I still think
with a fake mustache.
Like whether you curse or not, right? Like I think you still have to figure out when's the time to use that to create a little bit of a more frictionless life. And,
Right.
And along what you were saying, right? Like younger you, and I think there's a lot of dudes and people in general that just come from so much conflict all the time and think that's normal.
Yeah.
Right.
And that like that's how this
I grew up
goes.
with it.
Right. And so you don't realize that like, oh wait, you guys don't yell at each other in your house on a regular basis?
Yeah. Yep.
And then I came from a rad house with great parents. And but I mean dad was strict, shit like that, right?
Yeah.
And so seeing other people's families and being like, oh, that's different.
Yeah.
Or now hearing stories from people that I coach or work with and being like, yeah, man, that's not how other people's homes were.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what you know. Like that's what you're exposed to. It creates some bit of normalcy. I think what like puts in the base code of whatever your machine is. And at some point you can kind of step away and be like, oh,
Right.
I didn't pick that.
No,
I
exactly.
can rewrite that.
And as people often say nowadays, the survival strategies or the success strategies that served you when you were in your parents' living room may actively be working against you now. There's a pretty good chance that the more extreme your strategy, there's a very good chance it's the thing that's shooting you in the foot now.
Yeah, and I think, hearing people like, I mean, man, I don't have conflict with my chick. Like we communicate.
Yeah.
I've also figured out how to get better at it because she has to deal with a lunatic.
Yeah. Good for you.
Trying,
That's all we can do.
That's it. Try to be more aware of it. Try to figure it out. Try to figure out why I do the things I do and notice them and be like, oh man, why do you react to that thing? And then why? Dig in. And is it something I want to keep or not keep?
Do you find it difficult when you see something you need to cut out?
I only look at it at this point, right? Like, if I want it to change, it's just a matter of the consistent action.
Yep.
That's the only thing I even lean on is I know that I won't be perfect. I'm trying to fix a thing.
Yep.
But if I can stick to it more days than not, in 6 months, I'm more that than I am now.
Yep.
You might be the most enlightened kilt wearer I've ever met.
I'll take it.
You think kilt wearers are not enlightened?
I do.
Fair enough.
I would say some of the guys in Scotland, one of the more legendary guys, Hamish Davidson,
Hamish.
less enlightened. Man, that guy is a maniac. I heard him on our, announcing one of the games we did in Aberfoyle. And he's like, you kin, I was arrested in the woods behind Glenmore for sexual indecency. Nothing minor, you kin. And I'm like, you're on the microphone.
Yeah. That's a weird thing to say on the
Weird
microphone.
thing to say.
That means he probably told several people off the microphone.
He was a bit notorious for
Exposing
being
himself.
urinated upon on a regular basis.
Oh, he liked to be peed on.
Seemed to be.
All right. Katie had a boyfriend that was into that.
Yep.
I always found it super entertaining.
When he says nothing minor, did he mean children weren't involved or he committed a major sex offense?
I think major
I
sex
didn't
offense.
think we needed to go there, but okay, Michael.
Yeah, I think major sex offense, if I really had to guess. He was a guy that I don't know why the games tolerate, but he's just such this character. So we know going into his game that he's gonna try to skip out on paying us. Like we know it. But everyone still goes to deal with Hamish. So we show up and we throw like it's 40 degrees, it's rainy and awful. It's like 5 or 6 days before the World Championship. Like no one wants to be here.
Yeah.
And there's less than like
Don't do it, Michael.
$100.
I know you got some jokes. Don't do it.
And so like at the end of it, we end up tracking him down. And he's hiding in his trailer and then just hands us like a single stack of cash and tells us to figure it out. Like he hasn't tracked anyone's score all day, hasn't done anything.
So
now
who
we-
wins?
We just looked at each other and was like, everyone feel pretty good that this is how it went. And then we split money up and went on our way. But we've had stories in the past where like they can't find him and they'll see his car just peeling out of the parking lot.
And you don't get your money.
No, people will call him up and be like, hey, you owe me 200 pounds. And he's like, hey, I did you a favor, lad. Currency will hold no value in the future anyway.
Wow. That is a great argument.
Yeah, and then Pete Davidson punched him in the face. Not Pete Davidson.
Oh.
Different. Not butthole eyes.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Butthole eyes.
Pete Davidson's got butthole eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, never
He
put
should
those two
look
together.
at whatever his nutrition is. You should probably get some things sorted out.
Yeah, I heard he's packing.
Yeah,
It's a
for
weird
him.
thing to. He's packing, so that means the ladies love him. I don't know.
It's not like he got to choose any of that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like he's not hideous.
No.
And I'm sure he has like a thing when you're in the presence
An
of
aura?
him. Yeah, like he's definitely, he's got a thing. Some guys have a thing and most girls are attracted to it. I
vibe.
think he just has something like that.
Sure.
He looks
The
like
Madden
he is-
brothers have that.
He looks like he is an aura. He's like more Spectre than man. He looks like the 3-minute baby boy.
He looks like he's been dead for like 6 months.
That's what I'm
Katie,
getting
you're
at.
a woman. Do you find him attractive?
I don't. I really don't.
She's into Arnold.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right. So she's into,
Slightly different.
right, a different vibe. But you're not into Rambo, though, right?
His face is a little melty.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Van Damme?
I thought he was hot when I was younger, for sure. The splits and everything was horny, but like he's a little fruitier than my vibe.
He's a bit of a creep. That's incredible,
Wait, you're
by the way.
saying that Van Damme's gayer than me?
No, I said fruity, not homosexual. Just fruitier.
Fruity
Just-
means
Belgian.
gay to me.
European.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
A little bit. A lot of
Oh, no, the
Van
dance
Damme
is-
dancing.
That is a weird dance.
Yeah.
A lot of high
Okay,
Zeke
well, I don't care
Averici
what
pants
era
and-
you're dancing in. That is a weird dance. But at the same time, it's iconic.
Yeah, and props for having a
true.
boner on the dance floor on live television.
No.
Oh, yeah. That
Do you
was
think maybe it just got laid a weird way and like he couldn't address it?
Nah,
There's
I
no
reckon
way.
He was, yeah, I reckon he
Just
was.
full rage.
Yeah, because he's probably thinking about boning her in the dressing room.
Good
He
work.
probably did.
He probably did. In his defense, let's just
Probably
say.
smashing some tick pills, getting ready for the night.
Right.
Just ready to go all the time.
Sounds like
Van
me.
Damme.
He allegedly hit on my future wife and her mother at the Saddle Ranch.
Like at the same time?
Yeah.
Did like work his way down the line?
It was the day that my wife moved to LA. She was 18 and had just driven in with her mom from Milwaukee. And I don't know if he hit on one and then hit on the other or if he propositioned both at the same time. But
Things are going good for you when you think you can do that.
yeah.
Yeah. Just hit on a mom-daughter combo.
I've had that.
You've hit on a mom-daughter
Nah,
combo
they
or
hit
had a
on me.
mom-daughter come after you?
They hit on me.
That's a weird three-way, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I was young. One time I was in a Cadillac and I used to live in Mission Beach and people used to call me FF.
Were you living in the Cadillac?
Nah, no, I met a girl on the boardwalk and then we went for a drive and I was in the back with her and her mum was driving and my other friend was in the front seat. And we were drinking a lot and she straddled me in the back of the car
Wow.
while her mum was driving.
Legend.
Yeah, it was.
That's a weird house.
It's weird because now I don't feel good about it.
No, you can't, right?
But when I used to tell that story, I used to think I was cool.
Yeah, I remember. Look, same. I think about losing virginity, and being early high school, 15 or 16 years old, and
Yeah.
not thinking that was weird. And now at 40, I'm like, ugh, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Gross.
yeah. I was 11.
Whoa.
And
My
slightly
girlfriend had a hairy bush. I
nice.
remember going, "Whoa," because I didn't have anything.
I'd gotten into porn
I was
way
a late
too
bloomer.
early.
Did you guys see Cher's boyfriend?
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, she got a famous rapper guy.
Oh.
He's like
It's-
25 or something.
It's Amber Rose's baby daddy.
Oh, yeah.
Is that not 21 Savage?
There might be more
Oh,
than
good
one
for
of
you,
those.
Matt. You know them. That was impressive. Is that a guy? That's
I'm
a guy?
pretty sure he did date Amber Rose.
I've always wanted to do Cher, so I'm impressed by this guy.
By this guy,
Cher would be a legendary takedown.
Right.
Alexander
Takedown.
Edwards. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like,
Yeah, nah, fair
Yeah.
enough.
Legendary ground game.
I got
Yeah.
what you're kicking down.
yeah, me and my
Take
chick
that.
talk about that. Like, there's a couple that, like, if we were out somewhere, right, and like Brad Pitt hit on her,
Yeah.
go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, Katie could do that.
Fuck, go for it, man. I support you all the way.
Could I do that, Katie?
Brad Pitt, sure.
So it's
Brad Pitt's
Fair
great.
deal.
He's been
He's-
great looking for.
he's 60 and he looks so good.
Is he 60?
Yeah. He looks amazing.
He's just decided to look like the most handsome guy in Hollywood for 4
It's
decades.
because he is the most handsome guy.
Well, right, but now he basically looks like Robert Redford a little.
No, he doesn't. See, Robert Redford, when he got old and wrinkly, I was always
fell apart.
weird that because I'm not his generation of him being hot. I was more a generation of first time I saw him was Jeremiah Johnson, so he was already pretty wrinkly.
That's not the first time. Oh, Jeremiah Johnson. Yeah, I'm thinking of the boat.
Yeah, the boat was way later.
yeah.
Yeah, but I remember people saying that he was a sex symbol, and I was like,
How?
really? Did he like really hate sunblock? Because he's still in shape, but his face was very old. I remember when he was he was a drill. No, he was like a chief. He was like a military guy, and he got put in prison for doing something that was honorable, but they charged him anyway. And then he was like the leader of all the people in the prison, and he had to carry all these rocks. And then the guy made him carry all the rocks back after he did it, and he took his shirt off, and he was pretty jacked, but he had long hairs on his neck and stuff, like an old person.
Is this Cool Hand Luke, but Paul Newman?
Nah, I was like,
Robert
after-
Redford.
Shawshank Redemption, but he's in the army.
wait, it's a legendary movie,
I believe you.
and
A few good rocks.
it's something about
The Rock.
It's like rocks or something. I don't know.
Land Alcatraz.
He's a
the creating of Alcatraz.
he's a military guy, and he goes to prison in a military prison. And the prison guy that owns the prison and him, they butt heads.
Sure.
It happens.
Court
Yeah.
Martial Bill.
Story as old as time.
I feel terrible now. I know it's real, you guys. It's a real movie.
Is it The Last Castle?
Yes.
What year
Yes.
is that?
That's
Like
later, isn't
90s.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, he's way out of his prime.
Yeah. But he was still jacked with an old head.
Did Steve McQueen die?
He did.
Yeah.
Did he?
And then, so did,
cancer.
and then so did the other one.
But
Oh, no, that's Alexander McQueen.
oh,
Right.
Yeah.
different cousins.
Sure. Yeah, Steve McQueen is no longer with us.
But did he die young?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Right.
I was wondering why.
He was a
You
race
don't,
car
you don't hear
driver.
about him much
Don't hear
anymore.
about a whole lot.
Not many too.
He died in a race car.
Big time race
Oh,
car.
good work.
Yeah. Like he
That
was-
guy rules.
had his own team and stuff. Yeah, he was a champion.
Yeah, that guy seemed to be having a pretty good rip at life.
You think he's cool because he died? Like,
No.
you think he was going to do something uncool and he wouldn't be known as so cool now? Like James Dean?
You always have to ask that question.
Like James Dean would be like 80 wearing Crocs.
Right.
Like,
Well,
you're
it
not
just
that cool.
depends. Like, look at their contemporaries and see what. Like, do you
Jack
think
Nicholson?
Right. Like Jimi Hendrix is dead. But like, do you think the Rolling Stones embarrassed themselves? Do you think Led Zeppelin embarrassed themselves? Do you think the Beatles did? Well, then there's no reason to think.
There's a handful that have been able to pull it off forever.
You know who was going to be a clown, and it's with all due respect, good that he's dead. Is Jim Morrison.
Yeah.
He was halfway to clown
was
town when
too-
he died.
Yeah, he was going
He's
to be
too
a
far
total
out there,
jerk.
man.
It's going to be like 400 pounds.
Oh,
you,
he's
you
gonna
don't
be
think he'd have
huge.
reeled it in?
He was going to
Hell
be
no.
like David Crosby with way worse poetry and
He
way
was
more
going to walk
acid.
around with like a whole cheeseburger stuck in his beard.
All the time.
Passing out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
no.
terrible.
Yeah, he picked the right time to take a bath in Paris.
Meatloaf died, right?
Meatloaf did recently. My mother
Yeah.
texted me about Meatloaf this
He
morning.
didn't take
great.
great care of himself.
What?
He didn't take great care of himself.
Well, I think he cleaned it up in the later years, but
Well, but too late.
yeah.
You know, I mean, you got to
He
make
was
some
pretty
moves
huge
early,
for a
man.
long time. And he partied while he was huge.
He may have bought himself 5 or 6 or 10 years. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong, but like It ain't the same.
Yeah.
But
But he was great, and he never was uncool.
No, totally. What incredible music, like that weird rock opera,
Yeah.
high concept
I
thing
think it's
that
still the
shouldn't
number
work.
one selling album in the history of Australia.
Is it?
Yeah, they love Bat Out of Hell.
Man, that says such an interesting thing about him.
Right? We
Yeah.
really love that. album.
Motorcycle, man's man, but
Yeah.
with the heart of gold underneath it all.
Yeah.
It makes
Oh,
sense. Speaking of hearts, some guy lived without a heart for a number of years. Isn't that amazing?
What?
Well, how?
They made some contraption.
Oh, he had a fake one in there.
No, but it's not like a.
It's like sits on a table next to him?
It's this whole other thing. The X-ray is actually really weird because he's got. It looks like he has like a couple of hand grenades
no.
inside of him. So this dude, he was sick with something unrelated, and his heart was going to go out because the disease was attacking his heart. And there was this team of scientists who developed this thing, and they'd use it on like 50 or 60 animals. So they were kind of ready for somebody who had nothing to lose, and this guy had nothing to lose, and he ended up dying because of the disease several years later. But he was the first person in recorded history. He's basically a zombie. He had no heart. He didn't have a pulse.
Whoa.
The way that
Dick Cheney didn't have a pulse, right?
Oh, really?
Because I think because of like a pacemaker.
But a lot
Maybe
of
it's
those
just
guys don't have a pulse.
Yeesh.
Yeah, the blood circulated, but it wasn't the pulse thing.
Okay.
So he literally was an alive dude. Yeah.
He wasn't doing a lot, though, right?
No, he didn't look like he was going to be taking you down to the
He
paint.
wasn't highly active.
Man, he could have got a haircut. That's crazy. And then,
It looks like he had an artificial head.
yeah.
No, that whole thing.
I don't trust that guy.
The whole thing there's AI. Don't trust that robot at all.
Yeah.
Fake heart. I know a guy in the like fitness space, like CT Fletcher. It's a guy in his 50s, dude from Compton, rad dude. He's got a fake heart. Had a whole heart transplant.
Yeah.
You know, that's wild to me.
Does he lift weights still?
Yeah.
Wait, fake heart? Somebody else's heart?
Not like
Robot heart, right?
crazy. No. Like so he ended up getting a heart transplant and got like this Asian woman's heart, I think, as he found out.
Yeah.
And he said like he's had really strange dreams and other
come
type
on.
of stuff.
Like,
Yeah, I don't know, man. Look, I'm like, I don't know enough to tell him he's
strange
a liar.
dreams about...
Or like more feminine feeling or any of this type of intuition or something.
yeah.
Something in the kook space.
But it works so good that he can lift weights. Is he jacked still?
I think he's residually jacked.
How's his
Okay.
clit?
His clit hangs several inches.
Guess that's a fair question. I've got baby girl's stem cells injected into me.
Baby girl stem cells.
Yeah, because they give you when you get the stem cells in Colombia bioaccelerator. They show you the family and the family's grandparents, like the bloodline, to see if there's no disease, and then they're like, your umbilical cord came from a little baby girl.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Right on.
She wasn't using it.
No, she left it.
Yo, how was the stem cells to the face? That's one of the gnarliest things I've ever
Yeah.
seen.
Yeah, it's brutal. That was.
You looked so not ready.
I don't know how you get ready for that.
No, sure.
Like, I don't understand. Like, I remember thinking, get into the mindset. I'm like, mindset of what? I don't even understand what's happening.
Yo, and she just
Just go for it.
she attacked you in a way that like I wanted to
she
get
did
away from my
say,
phone.
Do you want to take a break? Because some people take breaks, I heard. That's what she said. But I was like, I don't want to wait 20 minutes and then face it again like 7 more times. Just do it.
How's it been? Like that's not one of those things
think it did any.
I've gone to do yet. Like any of the injectable stem cell stuff. I got some during surgeries before, but I haven't ever gone to do like what they do at bioaccelerator.
I swear by it.
Really?
Hell yeah. I could skate. I could do everything.
And
There's
you
no way I
felt it
could've.
change after.
Hell yeah.
With no change of diet, no change of
100%.
from where were you scale of 0 to 10 before?
I mean, if I hit my knee hard, it would probably come off. And now
Not so much.
I'm not sore the next day after I hit it.
Whoa.
I can feel it more stable in my knee because it used to wobble in the gap. Like my shin would wobble inside my knee, especially the front one.
God, that's a weird thing that I
So
understand.
it would like make my balance hard, because my leg
Yeah.
would be like off kind of all the time. So now it's attached, like sitting in the right spot. It doesn't wobble.
Huh.
So like kicking, there was a time there where if I kicked the heavy bag hard, it would tear whatever was torn in my knee, and it would re-injure it and like swell up and be out of commission for a while. But now there's, I'm a bit like I warm up a bit if I'm going to kick and stuff, but it's kind of normal.
Whoa.
Yeah, like I kind of don't have knee problems.
Yeah, the more issue I have now is my hip. I think at some point I got to get the hip sorted out.
Well, hip replacement is really
They're
good.
good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really good
Everybody's
at it.
talking about how they're like within a month they're running and kicking. And I mean, John Wayne Parr was kicking like a couple weeks after a full hip replacement.
I'm fully just scared of it.
Ben Askren had a fight after it. Right.
Too many, like ACL is supposed to be a pretty easy run.
But you've had a knee replacement.
Now, yeah.
That's way worse than a hip replacement. I
but
already
what
know because
I'm more concerned that it doesn't go well. Because the last
your
time,
knee didn't go well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like I've got to be prepared to go into that if
makes
we're
sense.
making that decision.
Tony was worried about his second leg surgery because he did all the things that he was supposed to do, and there was a surgeon that was like, we're going to get it all going, and it didn't. He was even, again, he was like, I don't want to go in hyperbaric chamber anymore. And I'm like, why not? He's like, because I did that every day, and my leg wasn't attached. And I'm like, I see your angle, but I don't think that the hyperbaric chamber made your leg detach. I think it was just one of those things where...
It happens, man.
I mean, the real answer is the doctor said you can put any weight on it. If you can take the pain, you can put the weight on it, and didn't realize who he was telling that to. He went skateboarding like a week later, and he says he knows the bit where he thinks he made it come off too.
So he ended up, he had the second surgery.
Yeah.
How's that now?
Good.
Sweet.
It's
Good
attached.
news. Everything's.
MRI, it's all on.
Oh,
He
right
said
on.
that he's told me yesterday that just skating, he skated on the ground in the backyard the other day and said that the whole 7 months that he was trying to rehab that leg, he couldn't put, his weight was always on the back foot, and he said he's already evenly putting weight and there's no pain and it's sturdy. He's like, he feels like he's gonna be back and doing some real stuff again. And I mean, you can't, when you love it that much, you're gonna be good at it again.
Yeah.
You know, Kevin Staub, 56 or something, and he just did a frontside invert. And he broke his femur 4 months ago, clean, across the hip, right up the top. Oh. And he's all right. So it's just the will. And Kevin is not a gym, CrossFit. He didn't do yoga. He rehabbed the most minimum frontside invert.
I'm a real baby with mine. I couldn't even get back to my sport.
I mean, you can't casually do the Highland Games, correct?
No.
Right. See, I go skateboarding.
Right.
I don't go compete. I go casually skateboarding. So it's different.
Yeah, I'm enjoying more casual athletics.
Yeah.
I started sparring, boxing.
Yeah.
As casual athletics as I follow that sentence up.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's not that smart, but it makes sense.
It's fun. I got a good group of
Just
friends
hitting your head is
in
not-
St. Louis that have been rad to train with. They've got a couple guys that
Did you have any concussions from childhood at Highland Games or anything?
I can't imagine I did.
Right,
Maybe from
so-
playing football.
So I think it's okay. I feel like, I feel like it's a certain amount a person can take. But if you're going to do it for 10 years, then and you're doing it for fun, I would hold off on sparring.
Right
Or
now,
I'd only spar with people that are really good.
that's what it's been so far. They're
then
so
you
much
don't
better
get-
than me.
Yeah, okay.
And I do a pretty good job of, I don't have an ego with it.
Yeah.
I want to learn.
Yeah.
And so it's way more timing, sparring, hands are a
Different
bit
story
open.
entirely.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about you and your friends
No,
every
no, no,
Saturday
no.
crack each other in the head. And that's like, dude,
No.
don't do that.
Not interested.
Yeah. I was recently convinced to retire.
Oh. No
Tony
more.
Hawk and Andrew Huberman got into me.
Andrew's an interesting guy, man.
Yeah, but he's also an interesting guy that's done a lot of research, more than anybody I'll ever meet in my life, on your brain.
Yeah.
And he was like, I've seen what you've done, and I've seen the damage you've taken. I don't think it's a good idea for you to do it again. Like, one
Sounds
of those
like
shots,
a coward.
I feel good about it. That's one of those things where it'd be like, oh man, I could have done so much more. No, I couldn't have. That was about as much as I could do.
Yeah, there's a lot of other things to try.
Yeah, and
Like
I'd
a
like to
ton.
remember them too.
Yeah.
Like I think it's cute that when I watch movies I've seen that I'm rewatching it and I don't remember it. That's cute. It's almost a bonus. But there's a certain amount of brain damage where I'll probably get sad. You know, it has happened to me where a group of people were like, you don't remember me? And then someone else was like, you don't remember me? And it was in a short amount of time. And I called Katie. I was like kind of worried.
Some of those you just got to say, you know, you got to let go of the small memories to make room for the big ones.
That's what I did. Because these people were like, I didn't have time to remember you. There was nothing that happened.
Yeah, you meet tons of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have brain damage. Sometimes people are just really, really boring.
There is a lot of truth to that.
Right?
Yeah, I can't think of anything I would find more offensive to like, I don't want to be boring.
Yeah. Well, you're
Living
not.
a boring life sounds rough.
Yeah, well, you're doing a lot. And people that want to watch you and get inspired so that they can make their lives more interesting, where do they go?
Then go to notdeadyet.com. We got links to everything there. NDY Life is the mentorship group, and on YouTube, it's Matt Vincent.
And Wolf Knives merch will come out when?
Hopefully in February, March.
There you go. February, March.
Yeah.
Leave me alone, all right? There it is. It's going to be very exciting. Thanks for being on the show, dude. I appreciate it.
Cheers, man.
It's good to have you on. Everybody, check us out, like and subscribe. Patreon shows. We're doing those all the time. Patreon.com/Ellis Mate. You go there, you give us $5, and we entertain the crap out of you. All right. Love you guys. Take care of yourselves. Don't die.